Hi, my name is Victor. I'm here from Dominic's Designs with a table saw review for you guys. I will be reviewing the Ridgid 10-inch Pro Jobsite table saw, model number R4514. This new saw is equipped with a 500 horsepower motor. It has the ability to rip through 4x4s in a single pass with a maximum cut depth at 45 degrees of 2¼ inches. And 3½ inches at 90 degrees. The front and back clamping fence features a T-slot for additional accessories. This one has a folding portable stand, so it can store easily and be mobile to any location that you need. So I'm just gonna start by giving you a basic walk around of what this thing looks like. They've gotten rid of a lot of the plastic and went to more of a tube structure like DeWalt, Skill, Milwaukee. I think everybody's going to this direction. Hold your fence on the back here. Got a spot for all your accessories. Does not have a spot for an extra saw blade. It's a common question that's asked. Does have dust collection here. Let's jump into the accessories here. You got a push stick, plastic, not bad. Most people make new ones. I might. Miter gauge. Come around the back here, you got your rip fence. T-slots will go into that shortly. You got your cord storage. You got your wrenches that it comes with. We got these little stoppers down in here that hold it pretty tight, surprisingly, for how flimsy this can be. Anti-kickback. It's got a little nice spot there. I'm not going to take the wrenches out. They're typical standards. So once you get up here, your insert plate as well, plastic. It's got a little tab in the back here. And then it just drops it in. Lock. That's in there pretty good. So here's the miter gauge for you guys. It's got this quick release handle, rubber coated, so it's got nice grip. It's got these insert screws here, so you can pull this pin and then set an automatic stop for repeat cuts on both sides. Pretty easy to read there. You can see. So there is a very little bit of side-to-side play, but honestly, I waxed this with some paste wax when I got it. It slides like butter. Now let's get into the fence. Very sturdy, nice solid aluminum structure. It's got your T-slots on both sides and the top. This is your adjustment, you loosen that, as well as these two here, and the one screw in the back to allow you to parallel this to your saw blade or your miter slots. It's got your red indicator that you can do fine adjustment once you get it with your saw. It also has this cool feature for right and left side cuts, depending on what side of the saw you're on. For thinner stock, I'll get a close-up of that on the table, but it's got a nice feature. It locks, it's smooth. Set that on there. And again, I'm still dialing it in. I think it's a little loose for me, but overall, I think it's a pretty solid fence. Once you pop it in place, it slides pretty nice. Now the insert comes with 4 set screws, 2 on each end to adjust your height so that you're nice and flat with your surface. It doesn't come flat, or at least mine didn't, so there was some adjusting to do. But I've gotten it pretty close in the front. If I walk around to the back, it'll zoom in on this. There we go. There's no light. In the middle, however, I wish I could show you guys this. There is a gap over here and not over there in the middle. And it's getting back, there's a little gap there. Now at first I wasn't too excited about this tape system that Ridgid has put on here. This is a lot different than my last saw. It seems just like a normal tape measure material. Initially I was like, oh, I need to replace that. I'm gonna get a new metal stick on. But I did see the feature. So if I reach under here and I unlock my extension and I pull it out, it grows with you. So you don't have to be good at math and changing numbers and all that stuff. So with the extension, you are able to cut, let's see, if I put it at 30 1/4, I believe if I walk around, we're still clamping just about on the end there. So I think it says 30 inches rip online. I'm getting 30 1/4. So that is pretty nice. Now to the other side, I'll check that in one moment. So for the left-hand side of the cut, you're getting out to about 13 1/2. You're sitting right on the edge, still locking in. So not bad, it'll work. I'll give you guys a close-up on these T-slots here. From my measurements and all my dialing in, they seem to be pretty accurate. Now under here is your bevel adjustment and your blade height adjustment. Again, here is your release for the extension. I had tightened this up a bit per the manual because when I'm turning this all the way to 0 and I let go, it falls back. So I hold it and lock it in place and we stay. And I double checked that and I still stayed at 90. So I did play with that. You can't get much tighter because then this knob gets more and more difficult to turn. So it's got the micro adjustments. Again, I kick it all the way over. It's hard to do with one hand. Lock that down. I'm at 45. Now I did have to play with it out of the box. I think it came at about 44 degrees as far as I could go to the right. So I did have to use the adjustment up here, which wasn't too bad to get to the 45. Little quarter turn, I think. This knob here loosens the lock for your blade height adjustment, which is actually relatively smooth. I'm gonna go back to 0. And let's raise it up. This is not the blade that came on the Ridgid. This is a Diablo 60 tooth. Pull it up all the way there so we can get it out inside. This here is the blade that comes standard on this saw, 10-inch. It's got a 5/8 arbor, pretty standard, and it's 36 teeth. Let's look down inside here. Here's your dust collection, which I'll get into a little bit more from the back side. But here's your quick release. With one finger, it's not too bad. You can adjust the height on it. So we swing around the back here. For your riving knife, you have 2 Allen head and 2 little set screws. You loosen these 2 up and turn these, micro adjustments to get your blade lined up with your riving knife. All right, so let's go down underneath the back here for your dust collection port. And they've added this feature. It's like a thin plastic that can ride along the grooves as you go up and down for your blade height. This feature I've noticed in the past, looking up reviews on old models, they didn't have that, and which encased this huge opening. I'm glad that I noticed they've updated this, because I was a little worried, because there's not many reviews out there for this saw at the moment. This is your adjustment for your lock lever on the front for your bevel. So as you tighten this, it kind of squeezes everything down, makes it a little more difficult to adjust your bevel. So I did it as tight as I could without making it too hard to adjust my bevel. Here's a little look underneath here. Again, your guard, your anti-kickback storage. Here's your exit for your push stick and your miter gauge here. And here are 2 Allen heads that loosen up the saw blade. And then this is your fine adjustment, so you can get your blade nice and parallel, 90 degrees to your miter slots. Now mine came out of the package at about 89.6 with the fresh blade, and stayed about the same when I put my new Diablo on. So I did have to tune it just a tad. I was not using a micro adjustment on this. I used just my square. So it's not 100% accurate, but pretty close. I'll show you guys another thing on this extension here. If you go underneath, they have these 4 bolts, 2 on each side. You loosen those up and you can get your height of your table exact. Now, one thing, or the first thing that I am not a huge fan of on this saw is I'm parallel here, same height, nice and smooth. Same thing over here in the middle. there is a little, maybe a 32nd, 16th, it does grab. So that's the table. There's not really much I can do unless I added a pin that I could quick release under there, so that when I did have it closed, it was flush. But I don't think it'll hinder me too much. But one thing I did notice. So on the bottom of the saw here, for the stand, this is your quick release lever that you use with your foot. I'll demonstrate in a moment. Here's your handle 1, handle 2. You just click that with your foot and lift up. Second thing I'm either not figuring out or understanding, or it's a flaw. When I go to lock this in the upright position to store, you got your little hook here. It's supposed to grab on this tab that's welded onto the tube frame. I have to finagle this thing to get it locked. I thought it would just click in when you kind of kick this under. I mean, it's lined up. I actually have to push the handle down more and lift it up to get that to lock in. I haven't reached out to Ridgid yet. I'm going to see if this is an issue. I'm not really sure. So everything's lined up. So we'll see. But other than that, I don't leave the fence on there, but the store's pretty nice. Let me get some measurements. If the fence was off and you wanted to store this, you would need, it's got 19.5 on the top, about 22 inches of width. And then across, without the fence, about 24.25. So if anybody has any questions, please comment below. I will do my best to answer them. I plan on getting some use out of this here within the next few days. A couple projects coming up. So I will come back and do another review post-build and let you know how everything turns out and how the saw performs. So thanks for watching. I hope to continue and improve. This is my first video review. So as I get more tools or upgrade, I will be doing reviews on here.